Oh, I do not know. Hold on. Hello, everyone. I do not know if I changed the right microphone or not, but we will see. Why does this look so close? Let's back that puppy up a little. We don't need to be so close. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Untangled. We're on episode 91. This is my weekly series that I have on YouTube. If you are new here, thank you for joining. If you are always here, thank you for always being here. This is where we talk about life, our evolution, the evolution in human consciousness. What are we going through? How do we navigate this? There's no handbook. But we all came here for this time right here, right now, and we're all remembering over and over and over again. We're all in different phases of this evolution, and it's quite an incredible time to be here on the planet. So thank you for being here with me and walking side by side with me. I don't know if you can hear it, but they've been cutting down trees and trimming trees by my house for fire protection. So there's like loud, obnoxious noise out there. How is everyone? Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys? How's everyone doing, being, feeling, and experiencing their lives? Hello, El Salvador and Portland, Norway. Hello. Hi, friend Anne from Instagram. Glad you joined us over here. Hi, Joe Garrido. Hi, Mike. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Liz. Hi, Kit. It's good to be here with you guys today. I have had a lot of coffee, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. Longmont, Colorado, Bulgaria. Hi, John Joe. Hi, Peter. It's good to see you, my friend. Marge, Michaela, Sally, Valerie, Michael, Brouillet, Montreal. Hi, Astrid, Sarah, Boston. Okay, let's do this. Barcelona, Portugal. Okay, where do I start? Where do I start for this week? Oh my goodness gracious. Whew, I don't know about you guys, but every week feels like a lifetime right now. Every week it feels like I've gone through a lifetime of of feeling and being and experiencing, and life just seems to be so it seems to be speeding up and slowing down simultaneously, meaning speeding up in the sense that there's so much that I'm constantly growing from or learning or realizing, recognizing, shifting out of, shifting into. Like there just is so much momentum on one level, right? Awareness of thought, awareness of patterns, new ways to think and feel and be on this planet as I'm going through everything. So there seems to be this like flipping around in the river, tossing and turning kind of feeling where everything's just like, oh my God, it just isn't ever stopping. And simultaneously, it's very slow. And it's like there's a calm. So there's a calm while there is also this simultaneous kind of shuffling around in the water feeling, for myself at least right now. I think that's part of what this evolutionary shift in consciousness is all about. We're going to put some lipstick on in the midst of my live. There's always this duality or polarity on the planet. and there will be for quite some time. It's what's so spectacular about the physical experience. Um, what's so interesting about polarity and duality is that it creates the lens of this or that, should or shouldn't, yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad. It's very linear, you know. Um, and there are these deep, deep programs. Even in the process of awakening, there are these deep programs that are deeply seeped in duality and polarity. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine this morning, and even the idea of karma is a right, wrong, a good, bad. And from a much higher perspective, that doesn't exist. Um, Karma doesn't exist. It just is, right? So one of the things that's really difficult for us to start to Martin, thank you for that super chat. One of the really challenging parts of the human experience, because we're so physical in our experience. We have a, um, a brain, a mechanism in in our bodies called a brain, right? That has this structure to it that navigates the world based on how the world is experienced and perceived. Um, and so there is this idea of separation or splits, right? Division, fragmentation, differences, um, hierarchy, things like that. And when you realize from the quantum perspective that none of that actually is true, that it's all just one kind of blob of experience, almost like you're just floating in everything, then you start to learn how to juggle the quantum perspective, which is that there is no direct path. There is no right way to do this. There is no evolved way to do this. There is no divine way to do this. Every idea that is centered around the right way is still seeped in duality. We don't have to like this and we don't have to live this way, but that is the natural state of energy, is that there is no way. It all just is. Okay. Now, when we live in this very physical uh, planet, our reality that we're in every day is no, there is a linear path. I'm going from here to here. I'm going to move from this place to this place. I'm going to get a job and I'm going to make this amount of money. And there's directions, there's paths, that's a linear way of experiencing this world. There is a right way. There are things that are right. There are things that are wrong. There are things that are good. There are things that are bad. People will tell you that this is the highest paths. People will tell you, no, you need to do this, right? These are all ways of being on the planet that make sense, but are split. They're fragmented. There's a division, linearity of some sort, right? And all just something to be curious about and to recognize. Um, One of the greatest things about the evolution in your consciousness and in your experience as human is that the more and more you go about this, the more you are able to really be in the human experience, recognizing that you're not the human experience. And when you start realizing more and more that you're not the human experience, but you're in the game of the human experience, and you really start to embody this, then there becomes this sense of freedom or relaxation into all that's unraveling while you continue to choose, right? So, one of the greatest things about being in the human experience is that there's constant choice. And you're choosing, think about this, you're choosing your life, you're choosing your moments, you're choosing how to think and how to feel and how to be and who to be around and where you want to travel to if you're going on vacation and what kind of job you want, a lot, what kind of food you want to eat. There's choices, right? Do you want to get married? Do you want to get divorced? It's choice, 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 choice. Um, and so the the realization that you are choosing over and over and over again from a programmed world where there is right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't, understanding that beyond that awareness, everything just is. It all just is. So I hope this is making sense. So you're in the experience of the physical world, in the human experiencing, knowing that you're having the human experience, knowing that you have to choose in each moment how you want to play in the human experience, right? So you have to play in the should, shouldn't, right, wrong, yes, no, good, bad. We're not bypassing that reality, because that would be like pretending that you're not in the human experience. Like, no, you're playing human. Play it. Play it like a freaking master. Play in the yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad. Play in it. Make your choices. Stand up for what you believe in. But recognize that what you are in, this game that we are playing in as human, creates the illusion of all of this right, wrong, good, bad, yes, no, blah, 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 like should, shouldn't, hierarchy. This is the divine choice. This is the enlightened choice, blah, 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 whatever that is. You're playing in that. So you have to see it. You have to see it over and over and over and over again. And the more that you see it, the more you realize, there isn't a, you know, every opinion is the opinion. Every truth that someone holds is their truth. Every theory is the theory. Um, every way that somebody wants to choose to see the world is the way they're going to choose to see the world. There isn't. If you think about getting stuck in this idea that your way is the right way and everybody needs to follow that way, or this is the divine path and everybody this is the way in which you are uh, most highly the highest probability of you evolving or ascending or whatever that is. That's all seeped in the duality and polarity. You have to see that. You have to realize that, like, more and more we have to realize that we are in this quantum bubble of floating, you know, amoeba-ish stuff where everything just is, and yet you're still going to choose from duality and polarity. Um, I think this is where a lot of us are at right now, where it's not one or the other. Again, that's the duality and polarity. Duality and polarity is going to say, no, you have to choose. Or the duality and polarity of this planet is going to say, no, you're in the human experience and you have to be in the human experience. Or no, you are this, consciousness, this God particle, and that's all that you are. It's like, it's all of it. You can't negate anything. It all is the experience, right? So there's this really fascinating, if you can tap into it right now, I really encourage you to start tapping into the awareness, the subtle awareness of being both in the human experience and the duality and polarity around that. Like, peel it back, look at it, be aware of it. Again, it's the divide, it's the separation, and don't make it wrong, because even in making it wrong or making it right, you're still only allowing the polarity and duality, right? You're still in the game. You're still in it. So you want to start practicing being in the game and also being out of the game, right? Being in that amoeba quantum space and being in the human experience simultaneously. It's not easy. Um, it's but it is the fastest path to freedom, or what you would call spaciousness, um, being free, because you're starting to wake up even out of waking up. You're letting go of even the awakening journey, the ascension journey, the evolutionary journey. It all just is this moment upon moment upon moment of recognizing um, what you're in order to realize what you're in. You get it? Like, I don't know if I'm, like, going too out there right now, but this is what's coming through for the message today. Um, and so it's if you're going through, like, a breakup, or not having enough money to pay your bills, or an illness, or a sickness, or an argument with a family member, or not, losing some friendships, or whatever that is so real. That is, if you're in depression, you're in anxiety, or whatever you're experiencing, you're in it, moving through it. Um, that gets to be honored, like, in a deep, deep way. There is nothing, 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 nothing wrong with what you're experiencing. Nothing. The idea that there is something wrong with what you're experiencing is what you want to be aware of, because that is the polarity and duality of the human experience. Okay. So when you realize that what you're in, you don't like, that gets to be honored. Of course, you don't like it. Nobody likes being sad or depressed or losing their job or going through a divorce. Maybe some people like these things, but most of us don't like it because it doesn't feel good. Right? And then we get upset, we beat ourselves up, we say this shouldn't happen or this should happen. And the awareness of what I was talking about earlier is recognizing that's happening. Just recognize that you are in the split, you're in the duality, you're in the polarity. It gets to happen. It gets to be there, right? It's 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 the human experience. You can't not be in that. This idea that we're all going to find some blissful state of awareness and be floating through the human experience is very rare. The evolutionary path for humanity as a collective is not to find ourselves in these blissful, in a bliss state, or in some high vibe state. The evolution in human consciousness that this collective is going through is to recognize that you can be in anything, that you are safe to be in anything. And I don't mean if you're in an abusive relationship, you're safe to be in that. This is not black or white. But in general, you are safe to experience all of what the human experience is, so that you can master being in the human experience. And when we start truly mastering being in the human experience, we give ourselves permission to feel, because it's what's moving through you, whatever you're feeling, to have whatever reaction or response you're having, to listen to whatever thoughts you're believing, to have whatever behaviors you're behaving in that moment, using the lens of, okay, everything that's happening to me right now is gifting me the opportunity to recognize whatever illusionary trap I find myself in, which is that I have to get out of anything that I'm in that I don't like. I have to fix it. I have to, and the the evolutionary process is that you have to recognize that what you are in is always going to be gifting you the ability to see that you are not what you are in, and that what you are in is simply the next thing that's trying to get your attention so that you can be in a massive amount of trust in life, so that life is happening for you, so that you and life are doing this together. And all your human emotions and all your reactions and all your responses and all of that gets to be here first. And then you start dropping into a deeper sense of trust, mastery. So you're not running from or resisting life. You're in life, letting life gift you with the next gift, so that from that place of openness and receptivity, you are choosing how to be in whatever life is gifting you from a place of empowerment. Empowerment is not, oh my God, I hate this. I don't want to be in this. I need to figure out a solution. Okay, I found the solution. I'm now empowered and I'm going to change this. That's a restrictive state of like, I'm not okay if I'm feeling this. I'm not okay if I'm experiencing this. This isn't okay. I need to get out of this. This doesn't feel good, which is our natural response, which is an amazing, amazing awareness. That is the kind of initial human reaction to things that don't feel good. Right? It's like you put your hand in hot water, you're going to want to pull the hand out. Makes sense. You're feeling depressed. Nobody wants to be depressed. You're having anxiety. No one wants anxiety. You're in a bad marriage and you need to get out. Nobody likes being in that back and forth kind of place where you're like, do I divorce? Do I stay? Like, what do I do here? It's uncomfortable. These are very uncomfortable experiences that the body feels. But every single one of these moments is not to put you into a deeper state of suffering. And it's not to try to get you to continue to try to resist life so that you can find solutions to get out of what you're in. Every single moment of our life has been a reminder over and over and over again that we are here as soul or spirit or God to be able to navigate all of what life throws at us as a physical third dimensional experience with duality and polarity, realizing and recognizing we're playing in the game and we are none of it. So you're simultaneously learning how to be in the game and recognizing that you're not the game, which means that you can be in any of it. That is the empowerment. That's the natural state of empowerment. Always choosing. There's always choice. There's always action. You know, one of the things that people don't like about this type of message is they believe that what I'm saying is that you just sit back and let life do onto you what it's going to do. Not at all. Not even close. The most empowered place that you will ever find yourself, and if you haven't experienced it yet, I can promise you, you will be experiencing this. Promise you. It's that you realize eventually that no matter what you are experiencing, you're no longer afraid of it. You are respecting, honoring, and humble to the emotions, behaviors, thoughts that you may have around the experience. And you allow yourself to be in the experience of it, in awe of it, like, holy shit, look at what I'm in now. Look at what I'm feeling and thinking and responding to and being in. And look at how the human experience and the human part wants to do this. And you become curious and in awe. So you become open And then you're like, fuck, okay, let's go. And you start choosing how you're going to be, not from a state of, I got to get out of this. This isn't okay. This isn't right. I don't like this. More of a panicky, resistant, stuck place, but a place of, oh, wow, holy shit. Wow. Okay. What's next? How do I want to navigate this? How do I want to go through this? How do I want to be in this? And it opens you. There's a there's an openness. The body relaxes. You will not experience as much anxiety. You will not experience as much stress. Not because you're trying to manage your stress or manage your anxiety or manage your emotions or manage your thoughts. This idea that we're here to manage all of that only creates more resistance. It's not about managing these things. It's about recognizing that life is constantly this whole experience of each moment that you are being birthed into and that is being given to you in some way, shape, or form. Every single moment is the opportunity to recognize that this moment is not out to get you. This moment is trying to bring awareness to you that you can be in the moment. It's not going to destroy you. And that as soon as you relax into being in that moment and you actually feel that you're okay to be in that moment, even with whatever feelings you have, thoughts you have, behaviors, the awareness that you can be in this moment with all of it, which is a totally different lens than the judgmental perspective of, I need to get out. This isn't okay. I'm not safe, blah, blah, blah. You will start to become super empowered because you realize that you're okay. You realize that everything is in movement. Everything is in movement. Everything moves. No matter what you are in, you are moving through it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You're moving through whatever you're in over and over and over again. Yesterday, my friend Ryan had me in his community, and he said, how do you, he goes, you were talking about how you, you just feel every emotion and you don't judge it or you don't change it or you don't try to do anything with it. He's like, how do you do that? Like, what are the ways in which you've learned how to do that? And honestly, it's knowing that, thank you, Michelle, so much for that super chat. Appreciate that. It's knowing that that nothing is permanent. So when I feel stress or anxiety or worry, anger, sadness, confusion, irritability, something's just not quite right, uh, this need to like figure out a solution, confusion, it doesn't matter, you name it, right? No matter what I'm experiencing, I just simply experience it until something else arises to be experienced. I don't try to control it. And I know that whatever I'm experiencing is not me. I know that so deeply. And I know that the human experience is going to try to convince me that it's me and that I'm going to grab it and try to change it. Right. So, with that awareness, it allows me to drop deeper into just allowing whatever it is that I'm experiencing, knowing that it's not me and knowing that it's moving. Right. So, last week I hurt my shoulder. I woke up Tuesday morning and my shoulder just like froze up and it was in so much pain. And because I never have injury, I was like, oh my geez, what the heck? How long is this going to last? What do I need to do? Am I screwed? Is my shoulder going to be messed up forever? So as I was feeling this anxiety and this stress, and I was tapping into like, ooh, I really don't want to experience this, right? I was recognizing there were two things happening. One, I was recognizing what I was feeling. I was recognizing that I was experiencing anxiety. I was experiencing confusion. I recognized it. I recognized it not only as the feeling state of it, but also that it was part of the human response, right? It's just what the human does. There's nothing wrong with feeling anxiousness or sadness or the need to, uh, you know, um, fix it. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just is until something else arises. So I allowed all of that to be felt. I just allowed the human to play out as the human. I just let it play out. What we do is we get upset over what we're feeling, or we try to grab it and change it. Um, we try to be the conductor, like the one in charge of everything. And the more that you are trying to be in charge of everything, the more exhausted you're going to be in life. The more sick you may get, the more dis-ease you may have in your body, right? Because you're trying so hard to control what you will never be able to control. You can't control life. You can control the choices of how you respond to life, but you cannot control life. You have no idea what's coming, and you can never predict it. And we try so hard to stay in a state of control. And one of the fastest ways through anything is not trying to control it. So, whatever you're in is what you're in until you're in something new. And simultaneously, you are choosing how to navigate it. I think I'm going to go to the doctor. I think I'm going to go lay down. I think I'm going to take ibuprofen. I think I'm going to ice it. I think I'm going to. So you're making choices because that is what the human does. But you're not making the choice. Thanks, Katie. But you're not making the choice um, in a as a way of trying to control it. Very subtle difference. Because if I was trying to control my shoulder, it needs to be healed by a certain time. Why is it doing this? Why is it still this? It shouldn't be like this. I don't want this. That's a controlled state. Instead, I'm going to lay down. That's it, period. I'm going to take ibuprofen. Okay, period. I'm going to ice it. I'm going to take a bath. You're in the experience of it. You're letting the experience do what it's going to do. So it's a subtle energetic experience. You have to feel into this. Logically, it's not going to make sense, right? You're not going to understand this through the logical mind. You have to just practice this in your everyday. You got to just start practicing this. So when you're in something that's unraveling that you don't like, okay? Bravo. Welcome to the human experience. This idea, I I don't have the most, like, popular opinions around evolution. People like to believe that in this evolutionary process, somehow we're gonna find ourselves in some sort of blissful heaven on earth state where you're never gonna experience whatever life's gonna hand to you. Uh-uh. No, 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 no. The evolutionary process is that you learn how to stand in all of it, that you let yourself get burned over and over again until you finally realize, holy shit, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to run anywhere. I don't have to get myself into some sort of higher vibrational state, some sort of positive place. No, all of that is the trap. It's still the illusion. It's still the trap. True freedom, true empowerment, true evolution in our human consciousness is that we stand in all of it and stop trying to change it into what we want. You don't, life is just life. And from that moment of life being life, you just choose how to be in it. You choose where you want to go in that moment. And then if life seems to bring something else up, then you learn how to be in that. And then you learn how to be in that. Right? You give yourself permission for the humble permission to experience it the way you're going to experience it. But it is a massive trap in the awakened space, um, to try to bring ourselves into where we want to go. One, it works doing that, so it's a loop that's unfortunate but also fortunate because it works. It helps us get out of suffering or pain or whatever we're in. Um, but you cannot get out of the truth of how our natural state works. And the truth of how our natural state works is that the moment you stop trying to control what is being experienced in that moment is the moment that you start really experiencing life from that more evolved state. So it's counterintuitive to what we are taught. It's counterintuitive to what we read or what we're shown or what, it's counterintuitive for a lot of us. Because the human experience and duality and polarity in this physical realm is that we are in charge. We are creator beings, and you don't have to be in anything you don't want to be in. Thank you, Yogi A. Lunette, for that super chat. I appreciate it. We don't have to. We don't have to be in anything that we're in. We get to choose. We get to create. We're creator beings. We can manifest, and we can do all of that. And that's 100 billion% correct. We are creator beings. We can manifest anything we want. We can design the life we want. But here's the difference. If you are doing it out of a state of, I don't want to be in this, resistance to, right? This isn't okay. I don't like this. This doesn't feel right. Okay. And you're doing it from, get me out of this. It's fine. It's totally fine. I highly encourage you, as difficult as this may be or as triggering as this may be, just be aware of that. And you can be aware of it in a subtle way or in a massive way, right? But just be aware of it and let that be okay, because we're all going to do that. We're all going to want to get out of what we don't like. It's natural. But be aware of it, because the more that you can be aware of it, the more you will realize, okay, wait, before I jump out of and try to create because I don't like what I'm in, what if I dropped deeper into where I'm at, allowing it to be okay because it's where I'm at? And as soon as I relax deeper into where I'm at, it doesn't it's all perfect. Everything is perfect. Even if I hate it, even if I don't like it, even if it creates whatever emotion, it's still perfect because it's right here, right now. There's nothing wrong with what's right here, right now. And then from that place, with relaxed body, with relaxed mind, with relaxedness to life, then you start to choose where you want to be, what you want, but you're not choosing it from a place of, I need to get out of this. It's a very different energetic experience, and it will change your entire life if you can start to practice this. And not practice it from a state of, oh my God, I'm feeling this emotion and I don't want to feel this emotion. And now I'm not supposed to not want to feel this emotion. And okay, how do I just like let myself relax into this emotion when I don't like to? We start analyzing everything, right? So teaching this can be almost worse, because when we teach things, the mind grabs it as logic and then judges the experience. How do I do this? What am I supposed to do? Oh my God, I have this emotion. I really don't want this emotion. I guess I'm supposed to relax into the emotion, but I really want to get out of the emotion. But Lori said, like, the easiest place to be is to be in the emotion and let it be and allow it. I don't even know what that means. So we get into our heads, right? And then we get into this analyzation, and then it just it's worse. You're like losing your freaking mind. You're like, I don't understand. I can't. It's just it gets so intense. So it's an energy. It's an energy that I'm speaking of that is felt, and it's our natural state, and it's the natural state because everything's designed to be easy. Imagine that you dropped into this quantum space, okay, and there's this planet. Um, there's a planet called the Earth, and you're dropping into it in a quantum space. So here's the planet, and then everything that you could ever imagine is also here. That's the quantum field. And as you drop in, right, as something separate from the physical reality, a soul or a spirit, you are reminded as you're dropping in that this is a volatile physical reality, that there is polarities, polarizations, and duality. There's a dualistic way in which you're going to experience this world. And there's going to be two distinct experiences in each experience, which is I've got to control this, and there's nothing to control. Okay. So that is kind of the one of the pages of the handbook that was given to you as soul when you dropped in. Like, yo, you're about to go down into a really dense physical reality that is um, all about duality and polarity. So you are going to want to get out of a lot of experiences that you're in. And because of that, you're going to want to change things and control things. And simultaneously, you're going to be pummeled into the remembrance that you don't have to get out of anything. You're safe to be in whatever it is that life's going to give you. And you choose from that place of empowered knowingness, but you are going to also simultaneously despise, like physically uh, react to the experience. So your body's going to have a physical reaction to experiences. You have a heartbreak, somebody walks away from you, you're going to physically experience that. It does not feel good. Somebody passes, somebody dies, right? You're going to have a physical experience. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. You lose your job out of the blue. You walk into the HR department, and the boss, you're the HR lady or woman or man says, "Hey, we're firing you." You're going to have a visceral experience of that. Welcome to the physical world. Welcome to human. Welcome to duality. Welcome to really intense, dense physical experiences. And your job as soul is to remember that there are always these two unique ways in which you're going to be experiencing this. One is from the lens of the human. I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I don't want this. This needs to change. And the soul, the view of the soul, which is I'm safe to be in all of this. Of course, if you're in abusive relationships or people that are not physically safe or mentally safe, I'm not speaking about that, but overall in general, I'm safe to be in these experiences. If I lose my job, I'm still safe to be in this. If somebody walks away from me, I'm still safe to be in this. If my heart gets broken, I'm still safe to be in this. If I'm feeling massive loss and grief because my friend died or my husband died or something, that I'm safe. I'm still safe to be in what I'm in, right? And from that place, I start to choose how I'm going to be in the planetary, dualistic, polarized world that I can't get out of. You can't go anywhere. We can try as hard as we want to kind of bypass into some state that we want to find ourselves in, some positive state all the time. But you're going to be in much more suffering right, than if you just allow yourself to be in the human experience. We have this idea that if I'm in the human experience, going through the awakening process and meditating and evolving and all of that, then I shouldn't feel dot, dot, dot. If something happens to me, I should be able to manage that. If if I've been doing all this work for so long, I shouldn't feel insecure. I shouldn't feel attached to something, or I shouldn't feel um, fear, or whatever it is. That whole notion is still the illusion, and it's still part of the it's part of the programming. As soon as you let go of the idea that there is a path that the awakened one is supposed to take, you're going to feel so much more free. You're going to feel so much more relaxation and openness to life. um there If you think into when someone says to you, um you're okay, it's okay what you're feeling, it's okay where you're at, it's okay that you are having this response, it's okay that you are depressed, it's okay. We have this program of no, it's not. And the reason we say no, it's not, is because we believe that we are that experience, and we place a judgment on that experience. It means dot dot dot. If I'm depressed, if I'm anxious, if I'm attached to something, if I'm stuck in something, which isn't true, right? There is no stuck. There's always movement. It's just the illusion that you're stuck, because there's probably some unconscious or deep, deep belief around not wanting to be in it. So trying to get out of it or not making it okay. But if we hold the lens that we are these things and that they're not okay, um, then we are going to continue to perpetuate this idea that we're supposed to be somewhere else, when the only place you're supposed to be is where you are, and that where you are is perfect, and that how you are in where you're at is perfect. And there's a deep, deep program that believes that if you do that, if you think that, if you feel that, if you believe that, then you're never going to change. Then you're perpetuating what you're in. And that's absolutely a billion percent not true. The only way I can say that is because it's how I live. And so I can only speak from how I live and what I experience, not what somebody tells me or what someone teaches me or what someone um, dictates. It's my experience is and has been that when I give myself permission for whatever I'm feeling and let it be okay, I move through everything much faster, much faster. When I realize that it's all an illusion, that there's this idea that I have to be a certain way, or feel a certain experience in order to be more evolved, or I should be more attached, more connected to my higher self, or I should be more allowing of people's this or that. When I do that, that is the opposite. Thank you, Catherine, for that super chat. I appreciate it. That's the opposite of our natural state. The soul just allows what is because it knows it's none of it. What's happening to the human collective right now, even though there's a lot of confusion and resistance to this, is that we are integrating the human piece, the human experience, the ego and the programming and the duality and the polarity and all of that, which is so, 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 so beautiful. And it is this is it's here. But we're also integrating the soul, which is always here as well, simultaneously, at the same time. And so the soul knows that it's none of this. But the soul also honors the fact that the human aspect really believes it's all of this. And the soul honors that. The soul appreciates it, respects it, allows it. And the more that you can integrate this awareness of soul, the more compassion you're going to have for the human experience. And you're going to stop judging yourself for where you should be or you shouldn't be, what you should be experiencing, what you shouldn't be experiencing. Thank you, Peter, so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. And here's what I wanted to say. I can't believe we're almost done. I don't even know where the time went. Here's what I want to say. Feel into what feels better for you. What feels good in your body? Me saying to you, the evolve the more and more that you evolve, the more you're going to connect to your higher self, and the more you're going to feel peace, and the more you're going to feel all these positive things, and blah blah blah, right? So you're already saying to yourself, I'm not doing that. I'm not feeling that. I'm not experiencing that, right? Or me just saying to you, it's perfect where you're at. You're not going to like it. It's not going to feel good necessarily, right? But you're perfect. Everything's okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. 75, 80, 90% of humanity is right where you are. It's okay. You're freaking a rock star. You're nailing it. You're incredible. Every response, it all makes sense. Of course, this is how you are responding based on your past and the way you were growing up, right? That feels better. Why? Because it's the natural state. It's how our soul sees everything. But it's the human component. It's the programming on the planet that will override that and say, no, you've got to change. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You got to get out of this. And so this is the balancing act right now. And it's not for the faint of heart. It is it's it's a doozy to be. What's so ironic about how I've experienced this journey so far is that the more I just simply allow myself permission to be in whatever I'm in, to have whatever emotion, to have whatever thought, to have whatever reaction, the more I'm calm, the more I'm in peace, the more I am connected to soul, the more I'm recognizing the patterns and the programming. I'm not trying to do any of this. I'm not. I'm not trying to connect to soul. I'm not trying to be in calm or peace. I'm not trying to be aligned. I'm not trying any of it. Ask my friends and family. They'll tell you. I just live my life as awareness, as both soul and human, letting both of those awarenesses be okay. Like the human is allowed and the soul is allowed. It's all allowed. My human anger is allowed. My judgment's allowed. It's all allowed. It and my I don't like this. I feel lonely. I wish I had a partner. Like whatever it is I'm experiencing just is. It's I'm grumpy today. I feel really alone today. Okay. And like I feel like I'm not making money. I feel like, oh my God, I need to go make money. Like, okay, next. Like it all is allowed. And I just keep moving through it. What's next? What's next? What's next? I don't feel like a victim. I feel empowered and I feel deeply humbled. Right. And so this notion of I've got to create calmness or create peace, it arises in the natural process of being in what is. It's our natural state. Calmness and peace Alignment, it's our natural state. Flow is our natural state, which means it's the state in which the soul is designed to be in as it navigates the human experience. The problem is that the human needs to drive the car. It wants to drive the boat. It wants to get to calmness. It wants to get to peace. It wants to get to these things. It wants to be in purpose or in alignment, right? It wants these things, so it wants to drive the boat. And if it's driving, then it feels like it's got everything under control, except driving is like this. Well, once I find calmness, I'll be able to relax. Once I find peace, I'll be able to relax. Once I have this, I'll be able to relax. Once this emotion goes away, I'll be okay. As soon as this pattern gets out of my life, I'll be fine. As soon as I have a different job, I'll be okay. As soon as I get out of this relationship, I'm going to be okay. And the evolution in our human consciousness is that you're the passenger, the soul's driving, you're experiencing all of it, and the soul is saying to you, I've got you. It's all good. This is just a divorce. Have all the human experiences around it. It's totally bumpy. There's a storm that we're about to go into, but you're on the ride. I've got you. Feel it all. Choose how you want to think about it. Choose the position that you want to sit. If you want to drink a drink, whatever you want to do, choose it, but you're still going through this. And guess what? We're going to go through something else. And I'm going to drive you through something else. You can't get out of the car. And the car ride doesn't get any better or any worse based on what we're going through. You've got to get used to being in the passenger seat in life. And that every aspect of our ride is going to give you a different experience. Sometimes we're going to be driving through the mountains of Montana and you're going to be like relaxed and you're going to think that you have just arrived into heaven. And then I'm going to drive you right through a rainstorm in South Dakota, and we're going to have to pull over because we can't drive anymore. And you're going to be stressed and anxious and worried. And guess what? That's just part of your human experience. It doesn't mean that you are more evolved or less evolved, more ascended or less ascended. It means that you are in a ride, and we are going through South Dakota in a rainstorm. It's called life. Welcome. Oh, well, you must not be evolved or ascended enough because you're having anxiety and stress and worry and anger because we're going through a rainstorm in South Dakota. No shit. Of course, you're going to feel those things. It's called the natural response to the human experience. Stop judging yourself. That's what the soul's going to say. The soul's driving the car. You're in the passenger seat. Life is happening. Soul's got you. Life has you. Your job is to recognize that every reaction and response and way of being just is the human experience. And there is no perfection other than the perfection of being in the car in the human experience. And the more that you can just be in awe of the fact that you're in this car going through every single city and town and state or countryside or country or continent, and every moment is going to be a little bit different, and you don't have to like it. And you can try to figure out ways to navigate it. And you can figure out ways to work with soul in terms of where you want to go next, right? But it is a state of relaxation almost, that it is what it is until it's something else. And that in that it is what it is, you are still choosing, but you're also choosing from this awareness that you're not in charge. This idea that you are in charge is the illusion. Soul is guiding, or whatever you want to call that, consciousness, something bigger than you is trying to guide you. It's trying to show you that it has always been the one that has been driving the car. And that is where flow state resides. That is where trust resides. So you can have every conversation you want with your soul, which is you, right? And you can battle and allow it. It all gets to be here because it's all part of the human experience. It's all part of the car. It's all part of the car ride. There may be somebody in the back seat going through South Dakota at the same time you are with the rainstorm, and they just might be like, yes, I freaking love the rainstorms. Bring it on. And you're sitting there going, I freaking can't stand this. I need out of this. They're both allowed. This idea that there is a divine way of being, that you should be experiencing it from this state of awareness in order to be evolved or better or whatever, is absolute, utter bullshit. You're in the car, other people are in the car, and you may respond differently than somebody else. And that doesn't mean that they're better than or less than. It's just being the human experience. That's it. The soul knows it's not it. We got to stop this. We got to stop it. Seriously. It's like my biggest pet peeve is that there's this idea that you have to be a certain way in this human experience in order to, um, you know, I don't know, show that you're more evolved or that you're ascending or that you're in this conscious awareness, that you're awakened. It's all bullshit. You're none of it. You're already this massively freaking amazing soul. All of us are. What are you trying to get to? What are you trying to prove? All it is every moment of every day is an opportunity, okay, to choose how you want to see the you that's in the human experience, how you want to respond. And the badass you gets to choose from the knowingness and the awareness that everything's okay. You can go through whatever you're in. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in it. And life is soul and life and the universe and God is trying to show you how incredible you are by gifting you shit you don't want to feel, shit you don't want to go through, experiences you don't like, adversity. Adversity and challenge is the greatest gift, unfortunately, because it is pummeling you into the power and the empowerment, the awareness, the feeling state of, man, I really don't like this. But what if I stopped fighting and resisting it and started seeing it as the gift? Okay, I don't know how we got to 10. I didn't even get to talk about my week. I didn't even get to talk about my week that I had. I don't even know what happened. Anywho, we're at the hour mark. My ego wants significance. I get that. I get that. My ego wants significance. It's got to be significant. Beautiful awareness. There's Mike, the passenger Mike, right? And his soul's looking over at him and he goes, so how are you experiencing life right now? And Mike says, I really just want significance. Well, that's cool. Yeah, makes sense. Soul keeps driving. And the character Mike is like, but don't I need to find significance somewhere? Soul's just like, sure, you can try to find that. Eventually you'll let it go. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's an interesting piece that you're in right now. Right? I think I had too much coffee. I'm like shaking. I'm not kidding. I think I overdid my coffee consumption. Anyways, I don't even know. I literally wanted to talk to you guys about my shoulder and healing, what I was experiencing with my healing. It was so profound. My friend Michael and his accident. It's difficult when it's a struggle all day, every day, and it's horrible. So, Jane, just look at can you start to look at the fact that Jane is saying it's difficult when there's a struggle every day, all day, and it's horrible, right? So you're in a storm and you are, um, your soul is driving you through the storm and you're sort of having like a temper tantrum, which makes sense. I would be doing the same thing perhaps if I was in your shoes. But can you have an awareness of the soul's driving? So there's no mistakes. You're not where you're not supposed to be, right? And the human, Jane, is sitting in the passenger seat, saying, this is horrible. I don't want to be in this. I don't like this. It's a struggle. It's difficult. It's challenging. Can you just start to see like, yeah, that totally makes sense, Jane. Anybody probably in your shoes would perhaps respond or react the same way, but soul's driving the car. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to get out of. It is what it is. How would you be if you had that perspective, if you had that awareness? Would you be any differently? And what part of you is grabbing hold to this idea that it's really bad and it's getting worse, or it's very, very difficult? Like, what's underneath that? Like, if you were to let that go, what would that mean? Right? If you were to no longer really try to identify what you're experiencing is as so difficult, so challenging, like, just start to question what you would feel or what you perceive would happen if you let go of the idea that it's so difficult, so challenging. It's every day's struggle. That is one reality because you're in the car going through the storm in South Dakota. But what else is also available? Is there another reality in that car where you can look over and realize soul's driving? There are no mistakes. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And is there some sort of relaxation into what you're in? Just a question. Maybe, maybe not, you know? Question the meaning being assigned to the experience. I love that. Yeah. All right, you guys. Funny experiencing a UTI and practicing to allow it, and it very powerful being also able to continue my life, the soul ride. The soul ride. Um, I love that, the soul ride. Anyway, maybe next week I will remember to talk about the incredible healing capacity of our body. Holy shit. I rarely get sick. And I rarely I've never really injured my body. I injured my ankle once about 15 years ago. Um, I was drinking. Thank you, Lori, for that super chat. I was drinking a lot one night, actually with my ex-boyfriend, Michael, who I was with a long time ago, who had the bike accident. And I was upset and I was running down the stairs, and because I was drinking, I twisted my ankle, and anyways, it swelled up. I still have issues with the ankle, but I do Bikram yoga all the time, so it's healed it in massive ways. But other than that, I don't really remember ever injuring my body. I've been very, very lucky. And so when I injured my shoulder the other day, because because the way I live is through the awareness that the body is more intelligent than my mind, but my mind can override the body. So if I think that it's worse than it is, it will be worse than it is. If I think that I'm not going to heal, I won't heal. If I think that it's going to last and be messed up, then it's possible, right? The mind can override, and usually does override, the body, but the body is extremely intelligent. The body's way more intelligent than the mind, right? The body knows how to heal, and the body is always in a state of healing, always. And so when I hurt my shoulder, I knew that if I just gave my body time, if I just let the body do what it's needed to do, as much as possible, which meant that I just laid in my bed and rested, didn't do anything, as much as I possibly could, that it would heal the fastest. Because the body knows when there's something wrong in it and it brings attention to it. The body starts to heal that specific part, right? So, whatever it may be. And if you have multiple things happening, you're probably going to be extremely exhausted because the body needs its rest in order to focus on all these different areas. Um, there's extreme exhaustion when the body is healing because all of the body's attention is going to healing that specific area. That's all it knows how to do. The only thing the body knows how to do is to be in a state of healing every moment of every day. And so I knew that, okay, if I gave the body permission to do exactly what it normally knows how to do, I just have never really had to allow it, then it will heal very fast. So I just laid for 5 straight days for the most part. I had to do a couple of things, but I also have a lifestyle where I can do that. Thank God. And I worked from my bed, and I trusted that the body, um, I trusted. I trusted so deeply in the body. I didn't let my mind distrust the body, and it's 1,000 billion% better. Like, it's like crazy. I couldn't believe it. And then, of course, I do Bikram yoga all the time, and so I went to a Bikram yoga class yesterday, and, it's the most healing medicine, in my opinion, on the planet is Bikram yoga. Um, it's magic. It's better than any physical therapy. It's better than any acupuncture. Um, it is, a miracle. If you have the ability to go to a Bikram yoga class, like a 60-minute, 75-minute, 90-minute class, I highly encourage you start doing it. It will change your life. But I went yesterday after, a week or 2 off, and, I felt pinging in my shoulder. I could feel the nerves working. I could feel it was like, sensations like if you were to get acupuncture. Um, yes, I went to the doctor. Um, I actually went to the ER because I was like, "Fuck, what is this?" I could not lift my arm, and I was in excruciating pain. So my anxiety was off the charts. I was like, "Oh my god, what the freak?" So I went to the ER and they did an X-ray, and they were like, "Well, it's either a rotator cuff or you tore your ligaments or you tore the muscle." They didn't really know. So I went to my doctor's. Well, I don't have a doctor, but I made an appointment with an orthopedic in my insurance company the next day. And I haven't gone to the doctor in forever. They literally were like, "You don't have a primary care physician." I was like, "No." They're like, "You are you new here?" And I was like, "No, I just don't ever go to the doctors." And anywho, she was really nice, but she wanted me to get my immunizations and my vaccines and go to PT. And she's the one that said, I think it's just a frozen shoulder. And she wanted to do a cortisone shot or a steroid thing. And I just needed to, like, mentally, so for my mind to relax, I just needed to know what was happening. And then once I knew what was happening, my mind could relax and I could let it heal on its own. So I wasn't going to the doctors or the ER to, like, find myself in that world and then start going down that path because it scares me to do that path. I just needed to know what was happening so that my mind could relax and I could allow the healing to take place. It would have been more difficult for me to, just personally, for me to be able to relax my mind, if I didn't know what it was. Uh, So, because my mind's going to play all these tricks on me, like, oh, it's this or it's that, or what if it's this or what if it's that. And to try to like get my mind to relax, I needed to know what it was. And as soon as I was told sort of kind of what it is, then I could completely relax. And I don't think there's anything, I mean, listen, the medical system is freaking fabulous. Um, I am I think that, being able to go to a doctor's office and have them do an X-ray is such a it's just so awesome. I think that it's fabulous, and I think being able to get antibiotics if you need something to stop. I mean, I'm not against the medical system. I'm just against being a part of it and being in it, you know? Um, but I respect it on many levels, I respect it. But yeah, it's just interesting. We're all in our own cars. The soul's driving us, right? And we're all experiencing the scenery differently. Um, they didn't tell me how to think. They told me what was wrong with the shoulder. Very different. So, um, yeah, it's I think when we know what's going on with our bodies, then we can allow our bodies to do what it needs to do. But if I don't know what's going on with my body, I can think up all these crazy scenarios. And so it's nice to kind of know what's happening. Yeah. Anyway, all right, you guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, Untangled, episode 92. Um until then, just be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others. Um, and you're in your own car. Soul's driving you. Um, my niece and sister are in a children's hospital in Philly, and she's going through such a deep sadness. So I'm trying to help her, but she thinks I'm crazy. Just be there for people, you know. Be there for people. Let people have the experience they're having in the passenger side, you know. Everybody gets to choose how they're going to be in this world. We got to just let people be. We really do. Let people choose. Anyway, all right. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Mwah.